Okay, so it has been 6 hours since we last spoke about the Andrei Kuzmenko scoop to the Philadelphia Flyers. If you had seen that video, you would have known that I had plans on Thursday night, so I had only enough time to talk about the idea of Kuzi going over to Philly, and then I had to yeet. I had to bounce out. So I had to wait a little bit before getting back home in order to get this video out and running. It's 1 a.m. at night, so this is going to be a super late night video going over the trade itself with the full details intact. So I apologize to all of y'all, but I'm also thankful, very grateful to all of y'all who had seen the last video and who were like, okay, I guess we just gotta wait for Lego to get his take on the trade out on YouTube. That's exactly what we're doing here. By the way, big shout out to y'all who watched this video as well. We're at 50,000 subscribers, guys. That is incredible. Anyways, diving back into the Kuzmenko trade story, let's go over just an update about the Philadelphia Flyers during their game earlier tonight. Brandon Summerman tweeted this out at 6 p.m. PST, January 30th. John Tortorella and Matvei Michkov are in a screaming match on the bench during the TV timeout. Michkov exited the zone and left a huge hole on the Islanders' goal. Torts was giving it to him, and Michkov wasn't holding back either. Now, this actually was not talked about in our video earlier in today's show. We didn't discuss the Matvei Michkov-John Tortorella argument, but we did speak about how Matvei Michkov could be one of the main reasons as to why Kuzmenko is going over to Philly. And it turns out that actually is the case. Because shortly after this moment, 20 minutes after, there was a post made by Frank Saravalli saying that the Flyers and Flames are working on a deal involving Kuzmenko. Add on to this, you had Jeff Marek saying just minutes later, Andrei Kuzmenko and Matvei Michkov played with SKA St. Petersburg together. So Michkov isn't coming our way, Jeff? Going out on a limb here, yeah, okay, that's definitely not the way that the trade went down. Darren Dreger went out there and spoke about this as well. Talking about the draft picks, okay, we can dive into some of the return as well, but reuniting Kuzmenko with Michkov, that's part of the reasoning with this trade. Also, Jakob Pelletier going over to Philadelphia, he's a player with passion. Calgary also gets 2 motivated players with opportunity. Who are those motivated players? Well, Calgary is receiving Joel Farabee and Morgan Frost in exchange for Pelletier, Kuzi, a 2nd, and a 7th. This is a pretty big trade. And honestly, just from my own perception of how everything's going down, I think the Flames made out like bandits in this one. I mean, we'd already spoken about it in the video earlier today, but Andrei Kuzmenko is not really doing all too well this season. You think that he had a hard time under Rick Tocchet? Well, John Tortorella is going to be an even bigger final Elden Ring-esque boss for this young Russian guy. And I say young, he's 28 years old. He's young in the NHL. He's only played 2 seasons before this one. It's unfortunate because his NHL prosperity was really at its peak in 2022-2023. He played with Elias Pettersson, he had a near 40-goal season, he had 74 points under Boudreau, he was great, but under Rick Tocchet, man oh man was this guy not effective, and he wasn't playing well defensively. Tocchet would bench the guy and not really give him all too much ice time because of it. He didn't get much ice time this season in Calgary either. He got scratched here and there, on pace for 27 points in 66 games played. Kuzmenko's downfall is one that needs to be studied. But I won't deny that there is a profile of a player who, under very particular circumstances, is capable of excelling in an offensive role in the NHL. It's just, if you had seen the video that we made, because this was made before the trade details were announced, it was just, hey, Kuzmenko's going over to Philly. What do you make out of that? I said in the video, hey, if Morgan Frost is still in Philadelphia with this trade, then having Frost and Kuzi together could actually be a really good opportunity for the Flyers and their offensive production, but nope, no Morgan Frost. He's heading over to Calgary, alongside of Joel Farabee too. Farabee had really good production last season, 50 points in 82 games played, a 20-goal guy, multi-time 20-goal guy. This season, unfortunately, his production has taken a hit. Last season, you can say he might have had inflated numbers. Who really knows? But Joel Farabee is 24 years old, making $5 million a year till the end of 2027-2028, so the dollar amount is pretty similar to Andrei Kuzmenko. However, Farabee is on for a little bit longer. Also, he is kind of on pace for maybe better production, so Farabee, younger dude, cheaper, on longer as well in the contract, and roughly in that same point production metric. This is a really big upgrade for Calgary for a guy that did have himself a pretty good, strong season last year. Meanwhile, Morgan Frost is a guy who's been up and down in terms of that Philadelphia Flyers coaching staff love, despite the fact that he has been a very good creative center this season. He's on pace for 41 points, which is really in line with what he had done the past 2 seasons. It's just, with John Tortorella at the helm, you can recognize that Frost was never really going to be able to break past being, let's just say, a good second-line center with some flair. I think nobody's really expecting him to reach maybe a 70-80 point ceiling like we thought he might have had back in 2017-18. I mean, back in this time frame, I remember making videos on my own YouTube channel talking about Morgan Frost and how this guy could be a steal of the draft because he was taken in the 27th overall spot in 2017, and he was out-producing everybody in the OHL, and he was looking super good. In fact, I kind of want to find that. Can we go over to Lego Rocks 99, Morgan Frost, and check out the archives here? Yeah, so I'm on YouTube searching it up. This is exactly where it went. The biggest 2017 draft steal 6 years ago. Morgan Frost. Look at that classic Lego Rocks 99 style thumbnail, baby. But Mo Frost did not end up getting much of that love from John Tortorella. He's not necessarily the guy who plays the best defensive hockey, but as a creative playmaking center, making $2.1 million a year till the end of this season, who wants to get a bigger opportunity, this is a really good get for the Calgary Flames. Meanwhile, going back over to Philadelphia, not only are you getting technically worse by trading away Frost and Farabee for Kuzmenko and Pelletier, but you also are getting a tad younger, because Pelletier is 23 years old. Everybody else in this deal, Farabee, he's 24, Morgan Frost, 25, Pelletier's a tad younger, 23 years old. In fact, he's turning 24 in March. But Pelletier is also a guy who had some really strong production in his junior seasons. It's not showing up right here on Elite Prospects. There you go. QMJHL production for Pelletier in his draft-eligible season for the Moncton Wildcats. Eventually, he found himself in the Flames organization, was not really able to find himself a role on the main Calgary team, but we all recognize that this era of Calgary Flames hockey was not really decorated with any young guys in the slightest. It was only really this season and last season where he actually started to get some games at the NHL level. I mean, 24 games played this season, 11 points, not the best. He has been a point per game, though, in the AHL, which is always great to see. But now, Pelletier, a guy who plays with heart, is going over to Philadelphia. I have a feeling that John Tortorella is going to like Pelletier a lot more than he likes Kuzmenko, but hey, that's what the draft picks are there for, right? 2nd and a 7th balances it out. Honestly, if you were to ask my subjective opinion on the trade itself, I do think that the Philadelphia Flyers are doing something that no other NHL team can do. Actually say that they see legitimate value out of Andrei Kuzmenko beyond just the gameplay that he has. Really, if Kuzmenko wasn't a Russian dude who played with Mishkov, this trade wouldn't have been made. They wouldn't have gone out there and said, okay, we'll give up Frost and Farabee to get Pelletier, Kuzmenko, and 2 draft picks. They're doing this to help out Mishkov. That's why. So I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, whether or not the Philadelphia Flyers actually got what they needed in this trade, a translator, a mediator between John Tortorella and Matvei Mishkov. I have no doubt that Kuzmenko is going to have a difficult time excelling under Tortorella's system too. Hopefully he proves me wrong. Hopefully he goes out there and goes back to being a 40-goal, 70-point guy. but I just don't think it's going to happen with John Tortorella as the guy at the helm. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Andrei Kuzmenko left the NHL this offseason and went back over to Russia. But that's just me. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Farabee and Frost heading over to Calgary in exchange for Pelletier, Kuzi, a second and a seventh. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.